Hi guys, and welcome to Trafford Talks Matchday Preview as the Premier League returns and United face West Brom at home. I'm joined by Herman, all the way from Norway. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Good stuff. So I think we'll dive straight in and have a chat as the international break has now ended. How you sort of feeling about United getting back into the swing of things? Nervous?
Yeah, of course, I'm a bit nervous, but it's going to be good to see the players get back. Always good to have the Premier League back. It's been a weird few weeks in the international games, especially in Norway, because we had a coronavirus case in our squad, meaning we had to change the entire team because we weren't allowed by the Norwegian government to travel to Austria and Romania. So yeah, the whole squad. Yeah.
Wow.
But really happy to get back into watching United and looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be, I'm hoping that it can be a real sort of straight out the blocks kind of start, and the team just starts as we mean to go on and build a run. I think there's been some good form for some players built over the international break, maybe some more than others. I think. I don't know how you sort of, or if you've seen many of the international games, but it looks like Maguire's had a pretty good couple of games for England. Obviously, we haven't seen Greenwood or Rashford both out with certain things. But yeah, I guess maybe just sort of jumping off that. How do you think we'll set up tomorrow, and what kind of team do you think Ollie will field?
It's a difficult one because we've, as you said, had Rashford and Greenwood on the sidelines during the international break. But there's a few starters there that will most definitely get into the team. I think Maguire will be back, of course. He's been good, as you've said, over the international break. I mean, starting from the back, there's no really going wrong with the Gea in goal, I think. Ollie's going to stick with that. In defence, though, there's a few problems. I think Lindelof might not be ready. He's got the back injury, I think.
Yeah, that's what was said today. Back injury for Lindelof. It could be. I think it could be quite a different either back four if we set up that way. I'd quite like to see Tuanzebe if he's fit again. I think it could be a good game for him to get some minutes in. I think it should be quite important for Tuanzebe to build a partnership with Maguire. I think he could be a really sort of solid choice at centre back going forward. So whether or not that's utilised or not, it doesn't. I don't know about sort of left back and right back. I would have thought Wan-Bissaka is a shoe-in to start.
Yeah.
I don't know if there were any injuries.
Well, obviously there's no. I don't think it's to him, but obviously Luke Shaw's out. So yeah, Telles is expected to start. I would believe, but you always got Williams as well. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of him.
Really?
I'd love to. No, I'm not. Well, I'm not like. It's not like I hate the guy, but he's not the first option I would put at left back. So Telles for me. Yeah.
I'd love to see Telles play tomorrow and play well and get forward and whip some more crosses in. I think that was a great 60 minutes against PSG, and
yeah, he was good that game.
He could definitely do with more from that side. I think I must admit I've been quite impressed with Luke Shaw over the sort of start of the season, certainly after the Tottenham game, which we'll just sort of glide over. But I've always thought that he gets forward at times well, and he seems to be putting the ball in the box more often, and that's something that's been built, and there is a process there. But I think that Telles just obviously brings that efficiency to that side. So yeah, I'd love him to get some numbers on the board.
Yeah.
And what do you think it will be a back four, or do you think maybe Ollie will switch
yeah, I think so. He tends to do that against the the less sides. It's going to be hard though to predict everything, because obviously after the international break, as we've talked about, it's always tough to find a structure again. But I mean, the back four is pretty. I think I'm pretty sure about it. Chuancebi, I think will be able to play there alongside Maguire. Wan-Bissaka shouldn't be having any problems getting into the squad. So and obviously, as we've talked about, Telles is a quality player, so it will be very nice to see him get going.
Definitely. Do you think? I mean, there was obviously some reports about Maguire maybe potentially not being available because of I think it was a bruised foot.
Yeah,
it always sounds like a football manager injury to me. Something vague. But if he doesn't start and Lindelof's not available, would you be happy with a pairing of, say, Tuanzebe, Bailly at the back?
Well, yeah, I would be. There's not much other to choose from then, is it? So, I mean, there's I think even Ollie said Phil Jones was out, so there's not really much to choose from.
When isn't
you've got Mengi though, Mengi of course, but
you've got Mengi. I mean, I'm sure a lot of Scottish fans would say, Scott McTominay's played.
Yeah, he's played there. Yeah,
as a part of a back line, so maybe that's an option. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how the defensive line sort of shapes. Midfield wise, do you see Pogba coming back into the fold? Do you think that he'll stick with the kind of double pivot system that's been there?
I think it's tough to say. Paul's been obviously struggling with COVID this summer or in the early start of the season. Had a good period of play before, or right after lockdown, when we had that same starting 11 for a running games of 8 or 9 or something. But I don't see Ollie picking him because he's sort of landed on the Scott and Fred pivot thing. So there's I'm not quite sure. Obviously Bruno's going to be the front of the three in the midfield. But yeah, and Mattis hasn't been starting either, so I'm not quite sure. But to be honest, I don't see Pogba going in. I would like to see him though, of course. But I think Ollie's going to stick with Fred and Scott.
I'm inclined to agree. I think they've performed well, and they performed well against Everton, which was obviously kind of the last game you've got to sort of look at. And I think I must admit I haven't watched any of the Scotland games, so I can't really comment too much. But from what I've heard, McTominay's played well over the break, so I imagine they want to keep that going. Do you think? Because I mean, there's continually a kind of Van der Beek discussion going on, and where we fit in. Can he play alongside Bruno? Is it a system that's either one or the other, or both? Do you think this could be a game for him to start?
Yeah, most definitely. Playing West Brom means we're going to play a low block, so we've obviously struggled with that in previous games over the last few years. Actually, we've never really solved that problem. But Van der Beek is a quality player. He'll bring lots of creativity to the players on the field, and having him in the team, he's been quite perfect right in his start. He's been good. He's not played much, or he's not at least started that much, but he's come on and had a decent figure. But I just don't see him starting with Ollie, sticking with Fred and Scott and Bruno. There might be a change of if Greenwood is it's been reported he's been ill, but he's not ill, but he's recovering, so he might be Ollie taking a bit of a slow progress to try and get him into the team again. Yeah. So I might see, if we're thinking the 4-2-3-1, which Ollie loves to play in, we might see either Pogba or Van der Beek in the left of that front three, or like the three below behind Martial or Cavani. Okay. So it would be interesting. But as we saw against Everton, we played the 4-1-2-1-2, or the narrow thing with the didn't we? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, it's a long time ago in my head.
I
don't remember.
You don't remember? No.
I'm just trying to remember. I'm trying to remember where Van der Beek played when he came on, and I think you're right. I think he did sit slightly deeper on the left.
I mean, yeah.
But I'll probably get hounded in the comments by saying no, he didn't. He played.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I'm not. Well, I think we played. I'm not sure. No, we actually played the 4-2-3-1. Yeah, we did with Matt on the right.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously he's a great player and he will bring creativity. So yeah,
I'd like to see him start. I think it would be a good opportunity. I think there is potential there if something potentially a bit drastic happens, that he could sit alongside Bruno in a kind of double attacking midfielders alongside each other. Whether or not it'd work, I don't know. I'm no football manager, but I'd like to see it. So no, I think that works. And in terms of attacking options, Martial's back, fit. Rashford, by the sounds of things, should be fit. And then Greenwood's the kind of, I think the one that's maybe there's a question mark over his head. So it off the face of it and off the back of sort of previous formations, you'd expect a left side of Rashford, Martial leading the line, and then who would you sit on the right?
Oh, that's tough. I would prefer seeing either Pogba or Van der Beek in that role, to be honest. We've seen Ole play Mata there against Everton, which worked quite well, but his legs are gone after 45 minutes, so it's tough. But of course, against low blocks like West Brom, it's going to be really important to have some sort of player there that can be creative, because there's not going to be lots of room to run into. So I wouldn't put Dan James in that position. I would love to see Van der Beek or Pogba in that position, or Mata, but preferably Van der Beek or Pogba.
Yeah, I think it was the goal against I don't remember who it was against over the international break. It was the first game that Holland played, I think. It might have been against Spain, where Van der Beek scored, and that was off the right hand side.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
we know that he can obviously pick up the space in that area. It's just a question of the width, I think, that maybe Ole wants to find. Let's just have a quick chat about Dan James, because he scored a great goal for Wales against Finland over the break, and we've seen glimpses of that. I think at the start of last season when he joined, he obviously scored against Chelsea. He scored a really nice one against, I think it was Southampton. Why do you think he's not getting that? Do you think it's a question of ability? Do you think it's a question of positioning?
Well, when he joined, he wasn't supposed to be a starter, but injuries and obviously lack of squad depth made him a player that had to start for us. And when he started out well, he obviously became a big figure in Ole's team selection, especially against the bigger teams in his 3-5-2 formation with against the likes of City, for example, where he could be running and just pressing high and using his pace to cause problems. But my stand on him is that he's a decent player, but he's not really. He doesn't have the it factor, He lacks something in that last part of the field to create something in the end. It's he's a bit of a.
I really like him. I'd love to see him succeed. I do think he's missing something in the kind of final third.
Yeah.
I think he's got the ability. We've seen it to either finish. We've seen him finish, but I think it's just that small sort of portion. There's something not quite sitting right. So I think that right hand side will be a big question tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised personally if it was Mata, just like you said, because of that kind of low block issue, and it's worked previously. I mean, Mata's been in some good form, not necessarily against big sides, but he's been in decent form, so he may sort of want to stick with that method. So that's how maybe we'll sort of shape up. There's obviously a few question marks in some key areas. What about West Brom then? I think we've kind of said we know they're going to set up with a low block. They're away from home. Do you think, our home form's not been great at all? And do you think that's something they'll kind of want to build off of?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's in the players' heads actually that we've not won in the league at home, which is, I think we got 1 out of 12 points or something in the league. It's it's going to be it's going to be hard because you don't know too much about West Brom. Well, obviously we know they're going to come here and defend, probably try and hit us on the counter. But as I've said earlier, they're coming to have a good defensive structure and start from the back. They will try to tighten areas for us, and they'll just try to make it hard for us to score. Be collectively good defensively. And I know the manager of West Brom as well is probably saying all of this, just stand back and hit them on the counter, really. Do you think
they pose an attacking threat to an extent? I mean, they've scored 3 against Chelsea in 27 minutes.
Yeah.
They've obviously, they have scored. It's just a question of, them winning.
So
do you think that could kind of play into their hands, like you said, in tandem with the home form that we've currently got?
Yeah, I think so. I think they might believe that they could come to Old Trafford and cause us problems. Obviously, we've seen that we've not been particularly great defensively this season. With certainly the start of the season with Palace losing 3-1 at home. Obviously, not scoring against Chelsea or Arsenal. I think they believe that they can cause us problems, and but I see us winning. I do that.
I'm inclined to agree with you. I do think I think they've got the capacity to maybe put one behind us, and it wouldn't necessarily surprise me, certainly if we've got maybe a sort of mismatched defensive pairing at centre back. We've seen them score. We've conceded some pretty sloppy goals, and that, I think that's something that always worries me about United when we've come off an international break. There is either a build in momentum, something good happens, and the result could be there, but there's still something that needs to be overcome, and there's still a talking point. And that's with any of these sides, it always kind of concerns me that we could concede early. They've got some pretty talented and speedy players that could do that. So we'll have to see. But I think it'd be an exciting game. I'd like to think we'll get the win, but I'm always pretty nervous about predicting games now, because you don't know.
I mean, I'm confident, but I'm not confident at the same time. If you get me, there's a part of me saying, "Come on, we're the bigger team, we're the greater team. We're going to win this with solid. We're going to win this." But there's also a part of me, of course, that's saying they might just go there and win as well. You never know. It's going to be hard. They're going to play a low block, obviously, as we've talked about, and as I've said, also we've struggled against that in previous years. So if we don't get an early goal, I might see us just trying and nothing happening really. So, and then if they get that one chance, maybe off a dead ball, like a corner kick or penalty or anything, they might just haunt us really. So.
Don't say that.
And I'm sorry to say, but they've won no game, so it would be the perfect opportunity for them to beat us, and it wouldn't be surprise me at all, to be honest. Also, they won, I think, out of the last 5 meetings at Old Trafford, they've only lost one. I also remember them beating us 1-0 after we beat City 3-2 to stop them from winning the title. So yeah,
they could be one of those teams this season, and it's always tricky, especially I think of West Brom as a team that have always kind of, they're what I used to think of a kind of mid-table, mid to lower table Premier League side. They were just always there, a bit like Stoke for a long time. I kind of put them on par with that, and they, like you said, they do cause problems because they don't necessarily play. I think now they've played some nice football. I mean, in the past they haven't. They've always been a bit, kind of route one, what you to kind of run of the mill sort of.
Yeah,
what you'd
expect.
It's not.
It's not like I think they're just going to stay back. They're going to attack the game as well. They want to win, and they think they know that we have struggled at home, so they'll probably go for it. Of course they will.
Well, we'll see how it ends up. If you had to put a number on it, what would you say?
Like in terms of score predictions, or
yeah, in terms of score.
Oh, yeah. It's a tough one. I do see us winning, but I also see us conceding a goal or two. I'd go with I also see, like, the thing is, if we score early, I think we're going to go on a run, because then West Brom have to attack us. So if they start attacking us, we can hurt them with Marcus and Anthony on the counters. But if we struggle to get that one goal, we might start panicking, especially if it goes long out in like the second half. If we haven't scored until like the maybe 70th minute or something, we're going to be starting to panic. So it's tough. I'd go with I want to say 4-1 or 4-2 game or something.
Yeah,
because I think we're going to concede, but I think we're also going to score a lot of goals. So I think it's going to be a fun game.
I agree with you. I think I'm feeling. I want to feel optimistic. I'm going to feel optimistic. So I agree with you. I don't see us keeping a clean sheet. I'd love us to. Hope we do, but I think they'll put one past us, and we've seen that in previous games, either conceding early or we've conceded one. But I do think we'll score. I think I want Rashford to score, just because it makes me happy. No particular reason. He just does so much good off the pitch, and I like it when he backs it up on the pitch as well. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go 5-1.
5-1, yeah.
Just fancy it.
So 4-1 for me and 5-1 for you.
We'll see. Let's hope our optimism is rewarded. We've only got less than 24 hours, so we'll soon see. But yeah, I think that kind of sums us up. I think that's a nice overview of what tomorrow could hold. So yeah, well, thanks very much for joining me. I know it's a bit of a change of scenery, but Herman, thanks a lot. Much appreciated. And
it was good.
I hope we get to do it again.
Yeah, lovely. It was great.
Good stuff. Enjoy the match, mate.
Thank you. You too.
Cheers. Bye-bye.